Hi everyone, this is Christine Zemsky, and I'm going to be talking today about some data that we collect from a physics experiment on projectile motion. And actually the students are going to be looking specifically at the horizontal projectile motion in this experiment. So what we're doing is we're rolling a ball right off the table and seeing how far it lands past the table. We're not going to be shooting it off at an angle. That's at another lab later on where they're going to use this data to help build up to answering some questions about the next lab. So in this case, we have a table, and the students are going to actually be able to set up their own experiment. I expect many of them, if not all of them, will choose this particular setup given the equipment that I'll have out for them. So they'll have some sort of ramp to roll a ball down. They'll have a table. And then they're going to need to take a couple of different starting positions for the ball in order to vary their initial velocity. So they can either make the ramp higher or lower, or they can start the ball lower on the ramp and higher on the ramp just to change things up a little bit. And then they're going to take their data. And their data is going to consist of measuring the height of the table, looking at the distance along the floor that the ball hit, the amount of time it took to fall from the end of the table down to the floor, and they're going to do some initial velocity work. Now in terms of that, they'll have a choice. They can either use a GoMotion probe and clamp it to the top of the ramp, and that will measure the velocity for them. Or what they can do is set the ramp back a little bit on the table, mark 2 points on the table, take the time the ball takes to pass those 2 points, and they can calculate an initial velocity from that. So they'll have a choice. And actually maybe I might have them do it both ways so they can see what kind of errors they might get when they're just using a stopwatch versus a probe. So then they're going to take a number of different trials at each of those positions, and they're going to get some data. Now the interesting thing is plotting it up isn't really going to help them very much, and I'll show you. We'll do a scatter plot first. So if we do a scatter plot and we select the data that I think would be interesting, let's look at the velocity and the distance along the floor, and the velocity and the distance along the floor, and we'll hit OK on that one. And you'll see it comes out, it's almost a one-to-one relationship. However, that's not going to help them all that much. What they're going to really have to do is look at what the relationship is between these numbers. And so they should notice that because the height is the same, that the time falling will be the same, and then the only differences they'll have is in their initial velocity and their distance along the floor, and that should help them start to develop some equations. So that is my segment on this. Hopefully it was long enough, and I hope this helped people a little bit. Thanks. Bye-bye.